Alright guys, welcome to our preview and predictions for WWE Survivor Series, which takes place this Sunday live on the WWE Network. Elle, are you looking forward to this week's show?
I'm kind of in between because originally when this whole tournament was announced, I was really looking forward to Survivor Series and I thought they'd do something really, really huge, and then it kind of went back to how things have been. But I think we've still got quite a really strong card, so I'm between.
I kind of feel the same at the minute. I'm a bit mixed on it. It's like we've got some good matches on there with the tournament, but at the same time the build to it with the tournament itself, I haven't really got into it because I've seen the brackets and I thought, like a lot of people, it was easily predictable to see who was going to get the final. And even going into this now, having the semi-finals still to take place, I think we'll probably know who's going to go in the final, and I think that's spoiled it a little bit for us.
Yeah, definitely. I think they could have done some really huge things. They could have brought back some legends, some people from NXT. But then we had random picks Titus O'Neil and Kalisto, I think it was. And it kind of made not only them look stupid, but you could kind of see straight away where it was going to go. And it soon became really boring.
Yeah, it did. I was expecting we'd get a few legends in there. But when I seen it and we had people Titus O'Neil, Kalisto, people in a tag team. I was at Raw when they first done it, when I had the first round matches, and we're all talking about it, and we're like, why put tag team people in there? They're part of a tag team, so just leave them as the tag team instead of pushing them as singles. There's plenty of other people you could put in there. And I think we all expected maybe a few legends, like Daniel Bryan or someone like that, to show up. And it just would have been so much better. It would have made it a bigger tournament. And I think because of the way that they're gone, it was pretty easy to predict that Titus O'Neil wasn't going to get to the final. So I was a bit surprised, a bit let down by it. Also looking at the card, we seem to be lacking a traditional Survivor Series match. So we've got no 5-on-5 tag team match this year. What do you make of that? It looks like the WWE have just either forgot about it or they're not too fussed with Survivor Series, which is kind of how I'm feeling in terms of actual Survivor Series matches.
I think this is a really huge thing they've started to do over the past few years with the big four. The kind of missing elements that made them so amazing back in the day. And I always remember looking forward to Survivor Series and this huge tag match. And it's kind of well, what's the point of having Survivor Series if you don't have the stipulation that kind of made it famous and everything? To me, it's kind of really stupid, and they're missing out on the money and everything from my point of view.
Yeah, they're kind of backing away from it at the minute. It's there's not a whole big emphasis on it anymore. I think that's probably because we get so many tag team matches week in, week out, that it's not a big thing anymore to have a pay-per-view where it is essentially just a tag team match. But I guess on that subject of the Survivor Series 5-on-5, you mentioned quite a cool idea earlier. And that was to put together a Survivor Series Dream Team. So what we want to know is your dream team for Survivor Series, and we're going to share ours as well. So the rules for this are you can have one legend, you can have one Hall of Famer, one member of the current roster, an NXT superstar, and a diva, as well as any manager. So Elle, do you want to go first with your team?
Mine's kind of a mismatch, but it's kind of got some gems in there. So for my legend, I went for Kurt Angle because I was a really massive fan of Kurt Angle, and I kind of think, like Triple H as well, I don't think they get enough credit as they deserve, and I really loved him, and I loved his moveset. It was kind of different from the rough edge we had with Triple H and stuff at the time.
Uh-huh.
And then I went with Eddie Guerrero because he's Eddie Guerrero for my Hall of Famer. Current day superstar, I had to go with Dolph Ziggler because why not?
I'm saying nothing.
From NXT, I went with Apollo Crews. I'm really high on Apollo Crews. I didn't want to go with someone obvious like Finn Balor, so he's kind of someone I'm expecting huge things from.
Yeah.
Diva wise, I went with Stephanie because she was my first favourite diva, and I still love her to this day. And then, of course, because it's a Survivor Series match, I went with Teddy Long because he'd love that.
Oh, that's a good choice. You've got the master of the tag team match. He'll have put it all together.
Well, he loves a tag team match.
Holla, holla. So that's an awesome team, though. I think that is a really, really strong one. I'll give you mine, and then people can kind of compare them and see who they think's got the advantage here. So legend-wise, I went with none other than Stone Cold Steve Austin, one of the biggest legends of all time.
That's kind of cheating.
Well, how is that cheating? You had the option as well. I've followed it up with just as strong. I've got Hall of Famer, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. And then who better is Well, I guess at the moment it's debatable. But current member of the roster, I've got Seth Rollins.
How's he going to compete, like, if he's on a wheelchair or crutches?
Well, he's the architect. I'm sure he can put something together. As for NXT, I went predictable. Unlike you, I went Finn Balor. Because, you've got to have the demon in there, just for the spectacle. Diva-wise, I went Trish, one of the greatest divas of all time. I'm a big fan of Steph, though, so I was tempted. I could have put her in there as well. And manager-wise, I kind of thought about this for a while. And then I realised, hang on, I've got to go with this guy. It's got to be Paul Heyman.
How could you forget Paul Heyman? He's like the legend manager.
He is as well. I kept thinking maybe Paul Bearer if I'd had The Undertaker in there, but I didn't want to have the two of them apart, so can't get better than Paul Heyman. Except for maybe Teddy Long.
Holla holla.
Exactly. So that's our, I guess, legendary teams. That's our dream picks. But get involved. Let us know who you would go with in the comments. So you've got legend, Hall of Famer, current member of the roster, NXT, Diva, and then a manager as well. So that is our dream picks. We're going to move on to predictions, but first off, we're going to go back to last month, which was Hell in a Cell. So I was quite surprised at this. We've got 9 people that scored a perfect 7 out of 7 results, which I think is probably the highest so far. So it was probably a really predictable show, but congratulations to all 9 people. I'm not going to list them all because there's quite a few of them this time. But as for our scores, Elle, how do you think you scored?
Well, according to you, it was predictable, but I think Anne might have lost that one, so it wasn't that predictable.
Well, I didn't get a perfect score either. I missed out on some. So I managed to score 6 out of 7. You got 5. It was pretty close. It was only Bray Wyatt that let you down. I think Roman Reigns, he's the one that's can't get you there. The other option that both got wrong was Taker, and I think I convinced you to go for Taker, so you can blame that one on me. So I think it was pretty close anyway. I think overall it was a decent event last month, so hopefully it kind of follows on and we get the same kind of event with Survivor Series. But if you want to get involved and submit your predictions, then you can submit your own predictions for the show at smacktalks.org/predictions. So that kind of moves on to the main card for Survivor Series. The first match that we've got is Dolph Ziggler taking on Tyler Breeze. So how do you see this one going? It's kind of been thrown together now as a sort of quick match. It wasn't on the card before, but it's carried on for a while since Tyler's made his debut. I think these are both in need for a win. Who do you see it going with?
I kind of think it has to be Tyler with him just coming onto the main roster. He's already had 1 loss. I think he's had 1 win as well. I don't think Dolph can benefit from winning just yet. And it's kind of a shame because I remember when Tyler Breeze, that gimmick came around, it reminded me a lot of Ziggler, and it was something like I wanted to see like straight away. I wanted to see them two going on with one another. But because it was through Summer Rae, I've not really enjoyed it all that much. I don't think the altercations and things between them have been bad, but it's just not that interesting or really wrought well, I don't think.
It's not great, I guess. It's because it follows on from the Rusev thing, and that just left like a really bad taste with Summer Rae and Dolph Ziggler and things. As for Breeze though, I think this could be a good thing. I think it's probably a good thing for the both of them because they're both capable of putting on like really good matches. So I think a little rivalry between the two of them is good for both of them, and it gives them a chance to show what they can do. And I think in terms of who wins, Tyler Breeze is someone that definitely needs the win because he was in the title tournament. He lost his first match on Raw when he was in that, but then he picked up a win over Ziggler, and then straight after, I think it was against Wyatt actually on SmackDown, and then he got attacked by Ziggler straight after. So I think this is like something that could go pretty well. We're seeing Ziggler get involved down ringside and go into the VIP section, stealing the drinks and everything. So it's quite cool. I like the fact they've brought that VIP section in there. I'm not entirely sold on Summer Rae being with Breeze at the minute, but I think in terms of the long term, it's probably a good thing. It's good to have someone there, and it gets over that gimmick of, he's so good looking. He's got like a girl on his arm as well. So it's a good thing, I think, for Tyler Breeze. If they have a little feud between them, Breeze can go over. Ziggler, he's in your dream team, but to me, he loses quite a lot. So I think it's going to be the same thing. Yeah, another loss for Ziggler.
Yeah, it's like a huge shame because for me, I think personally, because Dolph's such, in my eyes, a great wrestler, and he's probably one of the best technicals they've got on the entire roster, like if you choose the current roster. And I kind of think he should be kind of where like Roman, they keep trying to force Roman Reigns, and I think sooner or later Dolph might give up because I know there was talk of him leaving, and he's really not being used to like his best.
He hasn't really. I think when he signed that contract, he was promised like new things and better things, and then he got the whole Rusev angle, and it was probably a case of him thinking at that point, I should have just gone to TNA. Even that's not as bad as this. But in terms of Ziggler, he's someone that sells so well. He's the perfect person to put Tyler Breeze over. So I think these two together, these two could really steal the show in terms of the matches on the card.
Oh, definitely. They've kind of got like a similar move set, like they're both really strong technical, and they've got a lot of charisma as well. So I dare say they'll probably pull out one hell of a match. I just don't think there's an awful lot to go from because I don't think it's going to matter who wins, and hopefully it's not going to be like another case of this Rusev thing and they're just going to leave it after this match so both of them can go on to do whatever.
Yeah, I think it is one of them ones that can go either way. I think we're both agreed here, maybe Tyler Breeze for the win.
Yeah, I think he needs it.
Yeah, so let's agree on that one. Let's go with Prince Pretty himself. As we move on to the second match, we'll have the Divas Championship on the line. So we've got Charlotte defending against Paige. I'm really looking forward to this. I love the kind of big match feel that we got with this, because on Raw, they allowed them to actually close the show. And not only did they do that, but they actually showed highlights of the history between them and the history of Team PCB. And I think that just like all added to this being a much bigger match than I think we thought it was going to be a couple of weeks ago. And I love the fact that they've now cut out the rest of the team and it's just purely focusing on the two of these. I think that's what we kind of should have had with the Divas Revolution. So how have you found this going into it?
Yeah, definitely. It's been a huge step up. I remember when Paige won, I think it was a fatal four-way now, and I was kind of like, oh, not again, because I was kind of at the stage with Paige where just leave her, let her like get a breath or whatever, kind of like Nikki is doing now, even though she's injured. I kind of think Paige needs that time to go and sit down. But then again, she's come out with some like blinders, and I kind of think it's improved not only her but Charlotte as a character. And then we had like that whole escapade, you could say, that went on Monday, and that's like caused a lot of attention and things. Probably not for all the right reasons, but for me, I like it. It's a bit more gritty. For all it is, a bit tasteless. But yeah, it's got like some fire under there, and I really can't wait for it. I just wish there was stipulation with it as well.
Yeah, like I totally agree with that. I think it is a lot more gritty. I didn't watch it until today, so it was only when you mentioned what was said, then that was the first I'd heard of it, and then watching it today and seeing it, I was surprised they went with it. It is like quite old school and more attitude era, what you said, bringing up like Charlotte's past brother, and it going into it, watching Charlotte sort of, she did seem like pretty genuinely tearful, I thought, when she was talking about her brother. So then to have Paige say that was a big thing. And I think it is one of them things where we don't really get that on the main roster, not with the Divas especially. But it feels very like gritty, like you said, and kind of a lot more like NXT. Yeah. So what I'm kind of hoping is, we've had that in terms of the build, we've had that more NXT women's feel, and I'm hoping that's what they kind of bring in this match for it. So I'm hoping we'll give them like lots more time, because there's only a few matches on the card, so they can easily afford it. And I'm hoping we'll get that big NXT women's type match that we've really been asking for on the main roster for a long time, and we thought we were going to get when this revolution started, but it's something that we haven't really got.
I definitely think they're both capable. Like you said, I just wish there was a stipulation, even if it was falls count anywhere, just so there can be a bit more ruthless, like in the match. And I just hope we don't get a really short match with a screwy finish, because Charlotte's obviously going to be gunning for Paige, and Paige was wanting to head for the heels. So I really hope they just go full force and pull out, because they really are capable of having one hell of a match. It just depends what WWE want to go with.
Yeah, absolutely. These two, like of all of them, I think are two of the like most strongest ones that could put on a great match. When you suspect a stipulation, I think that'd really add to it. But just sort of looking ahead, we've got TLC next month. So if they have a rematch, I think that'd be perfect to put a stipulation in there. And I can't remember the last time I had something like Diva's ladder match. So even something like that, I think that would be awesome to just like get two people like this to go into that. That'd really add to the division.
I think especially with the Divas Revolution, it's time that we had a stipulation, maybe the one that's not been done before, because even when we had like hardcore matches for the Divas in the recent years, there were always crap like buckets and iron and boards. We need something like really gritty, something that'll go with this storyline and something that'll show like the rest of the world that these divas aren't to be taken lightly and they can do what the men can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And we kind of got a little preview of that on Raw after the contract signing, because they were sort of brawling around ringside. And again, that's something that we see like more with the likes of Lesnar and people like that.
Yeah.
So it was great to see the Divas actually being given that opportunity to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I just hope they do what they can like, and do the best, because it's one hell of an opportunity, even closing Raw. And hopefully, sooner or later, it might even lead to a main event on a pay-per-view.
Hopefully. I think that's probably like long-term goal. I think that's where they're going to aim to get. And the steps that they're taking now, just focusing on these two, I think it's definitely the right case to go with. And continuing to do that, I think we'll get Paige here against Charlotte. If Charlotte wins, which I think she will, then it leaves the door open to, I think we'll probably get a Paige rematch at TLC. And then we've got the likes of Sasha and that all lining up to go in. And when we get that one-on-one, I think they're just going to be amazing matches. Do you see Charlotte retaining?
Yeah, I think Charlotte has to. She's only just won the title, and having a match with Paige at this like ferocity, that'll be a great stamp on her reign.
It will. I think it's something that Charlotte needs to do. I think we'll probably won't have like a long title reign because we've only just got out of one, but I can still see Charlotte picking up quite a few wins just to really prove as that dominant force that she's been billed as.
Yeah, definitely. I think especially being a Flair as well, I know she doesn't like to go by the name, but that'd be a huge thing in the Divas Championship records.
It really would. So I think we're agreed on this one as well. It's got to be a win for Charlotte. It wouldn't surprise us if Paige won, but surely it's got to be Charlotte that wins this. I guess that kind of takes one on to the next match. Then we've got the Brothers of Destruction reuniting to take on the Wyatt family. And it celebrates the 25th anniversary of The Undertaker, who made his debut back at Survivor Series in 1990. And what better way to celebrate such a momentous occasion than a tag team match? What do you think of this? Are you happy with this, or would you prefer something else with The Undertaker? Because it's a huge thing, 25 years. But this match itself, a tag team match with Kane, it's not really what I was expecting.
Yeah, definitely. It's 25 years and they're doing I know it's Survivor Series and they're doing a tag team match, but why the hell wasn't Undertaker in the championship brackets? What better way to celebrate 25 years and having him even in the finals or even semi-finals would have done. It would have been great to see The Undertaker, because I can't even remember the last time he gunned for a major championship. Fair enough, he had his thing with Brock Lesnar, but that was more about their feud than a title or anything.
Yeah, well, it's years ago now since he last held the title, and I thought when Seth actually relinquished the belt and we heard the Undertaker was going to be returned for a couple of matches, then this tournament, it kind of felt like fate was aligning for the Undertaker, and you could put him in maybe as surprise entrant. So then if he got in, he got the final taking place at Survivor Series, then that seems like destiny to have the Undertaker win it, and there's no better way to celebrate 25 years than have him in that tournament, winning the final and picking up the WWE Championship.
I just think, along with Survivor Series as a pay-per-view as a whole, they've kind of missed out on a lot of things they could have done with not only Kane but Undertaker as well. I'm not wholeheartedly invested in this feud. I think the main thing is because we've seen Undertaker and Bray go at it before and we know how that went, and it wasn't brilliant. It was a good match and everything, but I don't know, I kind of feel like we've seen it before and not anything too new has been brought. We've had these little minions and stuff, which it's been fun, but I kind of wanted to see a gritty Undertaker. I know we keep saying gritty and raw and stuff, but I want to see something from the Undertaker's past. And even if on the night he decides to go with an old attire, that'll be good, but I want something more monumental for the Undertaker, especially for Sunday.
Yeah, that'd be really cool if he turns up with the purple gloves, looking the way he used to. I think that'd be an awesome way just to mark their occasion. As for the match itself, though, like you said, I think it is lackluster. I think we should have been getting something a bit better than this. But it is kind of cool seeing Kane and Undertaker back together. It's kind of odd though, seeing Kane and comedy Kane that we've got used to.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's in the ring and he's trying to speak the way the Undertaker does. And it just sounds a little bit weird to go from one extreme to the other. But I don't know, I think this is going to be it'll probably be quite a physical battle. I can really see them like really going for this. The way the match is being booked is it's a 2v2 tag team match, but they haven't announced which members of the Wyatt family are going to be in the match. So I think that's going to be up to Bray to actually decide on the day. I could probably see Bray maybe taking the reins and putting himself in this match along with Strowman. Do you see it being any other two, or would you maybe go with them ones?
No, I think I definitely agree. I definitely think we're going to get Braun, no doubt about that. It just depends if Bray's going to be cowardly, and from what he's been doing, I dare say he won't. I think he'll kind of want the opportunity to pin both Kane or Undertaker. I don't think he's cowardly. I don't know. Like I said, I think they've missed out on a lot of things they could have done with them, and because I think they've tried to rush it for whatever reason, they could have had like a really twisted feud, I guess.
They could have. Like, I think it's probably come around a little bit quick, because I think it was only like 3, maybe 4 weeks at the most ago when we had Hell in a Cell. So it's not too much time to kind of build it. Well, I've seen it a little rushed. I don't know. I think in a way I would prefer to see Bray put himself in this match, but I could probably see Luke Harper maybe getting the nod and team with Strowman. I don't see Eric Rowan being in it. I think he'll be the one left outside of it. But it's kind of that situation again where we've already seen Undertaker beat Wyatt at WrestleMania. And we always say this, that Bray Wyatt needs to win. And he didn't get the win against Roman Reigns pretty much every month for the last few months. How do you see this one going? Do you see Bray Wyatt shocking the world? Because it's a big time to actually make a statement and beat the Undertaker at this anniversary. But then again, Undertaker's just lost to Brock, so surely he needs to win. Kane needs to get back on track. And the Brothers of Destruction, they used to be a really dominant force. So are they still the same, or do you see this going the other way?
This kind of feels like the retirement club or something, because like you said, we've had Bray Wyatt losing nearly every pay-per-view he's had. We've had Undertaker losing at WrestleMania, and then Kane's pretty much his whole career like having weird moments. And really, I think all of them deserve to win, and unfortunately they can't. I think possibly with it being 25 years, I think Undertaker and Kane need to win just that little bit more.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think in terms of my prediction, I'm going to go with Undertaker and Kane. Mainly just because of it being the anniversary. I think if it wasn't that, then they could maybe afford to give Wyatt the win and maybe pick it up again at TLC and face off against them then. But basically, just because of the anniversary, I think it's a good time to celebrate the Undertaker's career. And that's something that we've seen all week on the WWE network, so they've had a lot of specials. And the best way to sign that off, it's got to be an Undertaker win, just celebrate the night.
Yeah, definitely. I think when the first started the angle at Hell in a Cell where they kind of kidnapped Undertaker, I was hoping that the Wyatts would kind of take Undertaker back to his roots, and then they were going to do the same with Kane, and I think that would have been a really great thing, and have all of those on a team and take on some other people. So like you said, they've missed out on something where they could have celebrated his 25 years more. But I definitely think we're going to get like some kind of surprises. Maybe he'll turn up on a motorbike, or like you say, he'll have the purple gloves. So I'm kind of excited for that alone.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how they turn out. I think if we got like classic looking Undertaker and classic looking Kane, I think that would be really cool to see. But in terms of the matches, I think it's got to be a win for them. Are we going to agree on this one as well?
Yeah, definitely.
So that is that one covered. It kind of moves on then to the WWE Championship Tournament, because there's nothing else really being announced for the card. So we've got 2 semi-final matches. We're going to start off with Roman Reigns against Alberto Del Rio. So do you see Roman Reigns winning this and going on at the final? Because that's what everyone's been predicting. That was the first thing I said when I seen this tournament. It's obvious Reigns is going to be in the final. I think Del Rio, if he hadn't just won the United States Championship, I think he is someone that they could maybe give it to, is a transitional champion until they determine who they really want to have it. As for Reigns, I kind of feel like it's not that I don't want Reigns to win. I've got a feeling they don't want him to win it just yet, because his whole journey's been about the struggle to win the title. And I think the way that they're booking it is they're saving it for WrestleMania, where because of this happening, I think it's kind of throwing things up in the air. And I think to give him it now might be a little bit cheap compared to what they're going for. So I could probably see Reigns winning this, but I don't necessarily see him winning the final itself. What are your thoughts?
I definitely think he's going to at least get this victory. I don't think there's no doubt about it. And like you said, as soon as the tournament was announced and that Reigns was in it, I think we all knew he was going to at least reach the final, if not win. I don't want him to win, and that was probably predictable because I don't like him. I don't think he's ready. I think fair enough, he's great in the ring, but he's kind of got like the Cena thing where he sets up one move, does that one, does the next one, and he's kind of getting stuck in a rut. And I kind of wish there was more to his character, because if this had been a few years ago, I dare say Reigns would be on fire and he'd be taking the whole roster by storm. But because there's all these characters like Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose, who've got such great characters and great movesets, Reigns is kind of getting lost in like this new era of superstars, and I don't think he's ready just yet. He should maybe go back to some more acting classes. But as for the match itself, I definitely think he's going to win. I don't think Alberto's going to go down as quick as some people think. I think he'll give him a good run. I dare say there'll be like a few knee falls and we might get Zeb Coulter or something. But I don't think Reigns is going to lose at all.
Yeah, I think Reigns is going to overcome the odds. I think there'll be like plenty there to try and stop him with the likes of Zeb at ringside. But
Yeah.
I can see him overcoming that because it's something that he's like done like all year, really overcoming all these odds. I don't know what to really think of Reigns. I still think they will hold off winning the title with him. Would you prefer to see Reigns if not necessarily taken up Triple H's offer, but if he does do that in the final, should he get there, then he maybe signs with the devil himself and, I don't know, goes down the heel route? Because it's something that The Rock done. I think he might have done it at Survivor Series, and he was a heel as well. And I think that really changed The Rock's career, doing that and becoming the corporate champ. I think that could work better for Reigns. I think maybe going down that route, not necessarily the same as Seth Rollins, but becoming more of the kind of, I don't know, kind of an anti-hero that you still cheer for, even though he is a heel.
I doubt, like, with some people, when they do change to heel, it kind of, like, rejuvenates them. And over the years, there's been countless people where they have turned heel and it's been, like, the best thing of their career. And I dare say, if the kind of, maybe not have him talking as much and kind of being, like, not so much an enforcer, but, like, a big, like, I can't explain, like, a big star that is going around knocking people out, I dare say.
Yeah.
I dare say I'd probably even start to like him.
Well, I think like a change like that would be really good for him. I think he'd enjoy it, and I think a lot of us that are watching it, there's like so many people that aren't really high up on Reigns, but it's not Reigns himself. I think it's more just the way that he's booked and the way that he wins the matches. I think a heel run, it'd be a really good thing for him, and I think it'll turn a lot of them boos into cheers.
I think the thing is with Reigns as well, he's never really transitioned out of this like Shield persona. He still does the entrance. He still kind of dresses the same, and he definitely needs something new about him to freshen him up. Because there's no doubt about it, he is good in the ring. I've said that countless times. It's just when it comes to his character, and I don't feel the passion behind him. That's one of my main things.
Yeah, I think that is like one of the main things about Reigns. I think if you went down the heel route and you had the authority, then he's got people like Triple H and Steph that can maybe do some of the talking for him as well. So I think that'd be a good route to go down. What do you think of Del Rio's hopes?
I don't think he's got any.
Yeah, I don't think he has either. So I think this is going to be an obvious one from Roman Reigns to win it. Are we going to agree on this one as well?
Yeah, you like agreeing with me on this one. Like, you're feeling threatened and you're going to change at the last one.
I don't know. I could maybe say a curveball coming in this next one. But then again, I think it's pretty obvious. I think this is really like one of them cards that is, it's easy to predict. There's not many ways you can go with it. So it kind of takes one at the next match. And we've got the second semi-final. Kevin Owens against Dean Ambrose. I have to say, I think this is going to be one of the matches of the night. I think these two could put on a really good match.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really looking forward to it. Not only is Owens pissed off Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but I think he's the one. If it wasn't against Ambrose, I dare say he'd be in the final, but regardless, he's going to pull out one hell of a match. And I kind of wished it wasn't so predictable, because I'd definitely be rooting for Owens, and I kind of still am.
I really am rooting for him. I'm holding on to that hope that maybe he can get past Ambrose, because he does seem to be someone that the Authority are pretty high on. We're seeing like a few segments backstage where he was shaking hands with Triple H, and I think if he was given an offer to become the man of the Authority, then he's someone that would definitely take it, because they keep saying this on the commentary, he's a prize fighter. So it doesn't matter who he teams with or anything, he's there to win championships. So I think that fits in with Owens. I think he's a perfect fit for the Authority. Dean Ambrose, on the other hand, I don't think he's quite what the Authority are looking for. I think maybe if like he become the man, then being unstable, I don't think he's someone that could control. So they might try and get him wearing the suit and things like that, but I don't think that's going to last very long. But I could maybe see them going down that route, and Ambrose maybe aligns himself with them just to get that title win.
Yeah, see, it feels like I'd say for me, Owens feels kind of a little bit like Brock Lesnar, but he's got elements of Stone Cold, whereas Ambrose, he's like full on Stone Cold. Like, I could imagine him going up against Stephanie and Triple H, and then maybe if, say, Roman Reigns does win the title and things, I kind of see a longish feud between those two, especially there were bras and all this crap that they keep doing, and I love that, but I easily think it could go like either way between those two. I definitely think come the end of the night, one of those two will align with the Authority. It kind of just depends who they're going to turn heel.
I think so. I think that could be the way they're going. I said this, I'm sure, last month as well, when we were talking about the Wyatts and Reigns and Ambrose. They always seem really pally backstage and in the ring, and it's like you kind of expect when it's something like that's going on that one of them's going to turn on the other one. So I wouldn't be surprised to see one of them turn on it. I think out of the two, I would maybe go with Ambrose. I think that's the more likely option. Yeah, so I think in terms of this one, it's got to be a win for Ambrose, and then that puts the final together, Reigns and Ambrose, which everyone kind of predicted to begin with. Do you think that's going to be the same case?
Yeah, I definitely think there's going to be no doubt about it. Even on SmackDown this week, they were definitely like hinting towards that. And it's kind of a shame, because then you start to doubt people like Owens and Del Rio, and it kind of ruins the build-up. Like, I loved it back in the day where we'd have Survivor Series and countless other pay-per-views, and you literally wouldn't know who was going to win. And because of the booking these days, you can kind of guess who's going to win, and I miss that unpredictability. And I think someone like Owens would be the perfect person to bring about that kind of change.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would have been really cool if we had Ambrose and Reigns on the same side of the brackets, because then you're looking at it and you know that they're going to face each other at least in the semi-final, and then it does throw doubt out. And it also puts that sort of thought together of how are these two going to act when someone loses. Will they still have each other's back, or will they be a bit jealous of the other person going forward to the final? So I would have preferred to see that, but I think the way we're going to get it, I can see someone turning on the other one, but at the same time, the way they've been, it wouldn't surprise us if we're seeing them get to the final, and then whoever wins, it's a case of, you know, these guys are still bros, they're going to hug it out, show some respect, and that's probably how that's going to end. But if that's the case, I'd definitely see maybe Sheamus cashing in. Could you see that happening?
If Roman Reigns wins, Sheamus is my last hope, just put it that way.
You'll be counting on him.
I think the only thing with that scenario, though, is if Reigns does win, I don't know, because if Reigns is going to win, I want him to be a heel and side with the Authority. But if that's the case, I think it kind of like squanders Sheamus's hopes, and I think he'll be put on the back burner again.
Yeah, so if Reigns wins, do you not think Sheamus would win if he cashed in?
No, I think he's more liable to cash in on Ambrose, I think, because I wouldn't say I'd say Ambrose is stronger than Reigns. I think he's more technical and a lunatic, but I think Reigns has got like that strength and things where Ambrose doesn't.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I think in terms of the two of them, if Ambrose wins, which I would say is probably more likely, I know people expect Reigns to win it, but I think, like I've said before, I think they'll probably keep Reigns winning it till the Royal Rumble. And I mentioned this to you earlier. We had that sort of time when we thought Ambrose won and he was the WWE champion, but the decision was reversed, and I think Seth still retained it. It might have been the one where he pulled the ref in front of him, and that caused like the disqualification afterwards. So
Yeah.
I could probably say maybe a finish like that where Ambrose wins the title and everyone's happy. They all think Ambrose has won it. Then Sheamus comes in, cashes in, and it costs him it. So it's another case of Ambrose winning it, but not leaving with the title. So I could see it maybe going down that route. I'd quite like to see Sheamus win. I think he fits in like Authority's repertoire, what they're looking for, as opposed to like the other ones. Owens does, but I think maybe Sheamus is the person that they would go with on this.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'd say Sheamus is more ready for it as well. And it'd be the perfect curveball of having this predictability that we're probably going to get. But like, I had my own theory, you could say earlier on, but you scoffed at it. But
Do you want to share it?
For what really wanted to happen, if it's Ambrose and Reigns, I wanted whoever to win. And then for Seth Rollins to come out in a wheelchair. And whoever does win, I want them to pass it back to Seth. Seth's really never lost the title. And I kind of wanted something that we used to get a lot in the past, where when a champion or someone was injured, they'd stick around, they'd be in a wheelchair or on crutches. And it's something we rarely see. And you'd still have the champion on the mic or whatever, cutting promos while I have like other people fighting for them. And
Yeah.
I know you weren't keen on the idea, but it kind of keeps Seth's reign going, because he was a really good champion and it was such a shame he lost. And it also make the Shield back together and heels, and I think they'd be a force to be reckoned with, even if you scoffed.
Well, it's not that. I kind of think it'd be cool, but how is he going to defend it in a wheelchair?
He doesn't have to, like other people never are. Maybe you can make one of those, like a free bird rule with it.
That'd be quite cool if like the Shield got reunite and we got a free bird rule, so it passed between them all, even though Seth's injured. That'd be quite cool. It'd be interesting to see what New Day done if they won like the singles title, if they'd done the same thing.
It's a shame, because now when people get injured, they just end up on the commentary team or something. Back in the day, they'd end up like the commissioner of Raw or something, but now we don't see them for months.
Yeah, that'd be quite cool as well if he come back and he got like commissioner position or something like that.
Yeah.
Could be the new director of operations. We're still missing one. So it'd be cool to get Seth back on the show. Yeah, I can't see it happening, but it'd be interesting. I'd love the Shield to get back together sometime. But at the minute, I think Seth's probably going to benefit from like this long time out, because he seemed quite burnt out.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And for all I still loved him, a lot of people were kind of getting sick of him. So I think this is exactly what he needs, albeit he didn't need to be injured.
Yeah. So I think we're in agreement for all these matches then. We're going Ambrose for this one as well.
Yeah, we're going to go with Ambrose.
So I guess that is pretty much all the matches covered. Then we're in agreement for once on everything. I think that's the first time. Is there anything else like in regards to the tournament that you would have liked to see? Is there any one that was maybe in the tournament you think should have got to the final or got a bit further, or any legends you thought we should have seen in it?
I think for me, this was a perfect opportunity to build like these future stars, people like Cesaro, Neville. For all Neville and Owens had a brilliant match. It was kind of funny as well, because the people who were having like really good matches, they were eliminated like near enough in the first stages, so it was kind of like really disappointing. But like you said, people like Cesaro, I can't think of many others, but like you said, they could have brought in people from NXT, even if it was just to lose a match. At least it'd be showcased, and they probably would have put on a hell of a match, as opposed to having someone like Titus O'Neil, who we knew wasn't going to win, or Kalisto. It was like a really great opportunity squandered for having the same old people that we've had for months, years, or whatever.
Yeah, I think so. I think they've probably missed like a little bit of a trick with this. They didn't really need to crown a new champion in Survivor Series. I mean, if Undertaker was in, I said this before, it'd be like perfect to have him crowned the champion on that sort of anniversary. But they could have also like stretched this out and made it a bigger tournament, so you had like people from NXT competing as well to get a chance, and it would have been a good way to actually move people up to the main roster as well. So I would have liked to see it a bit bigger with the likes of NXT and just some of the other wrestlers in there that we don't really see as too much, and maybe a few legends as well. Daniel Bryan's supposedly been cleared, but it looks like they're holding off him till the Royal Rumble. But like you said, Cesaro, I think he's someone that really should have been elevated in this, except he's come up against Roman Reigns, and we all know how that goes.
It's kind of a shame, and I know people aren't wholeheartedly fussed on TNA, but I think it would have benefited from that sort of world title tournament they've got going on, like having the factions, so we could have had an NXT faction, like a tag team faction, so you had like a member of New Day taking on the Dudley or something, and having like select groups to kind of freshen things up and give everyone a spotlight as opposed to the same people who've got it for weeks on end.
Yeah, it's quite a cool way to go with it. Like, in terms of all them different ways, it's good TNA have done that, and they've got like different divisions for it. So I quite like the way they're going with that. I would love to see something like that where it's a bit more strung out, and it just gives it a bigger, grander feel when you've got like so many people in there, and it opens it up instead of just seeing one or two superstars that you think might win it.
And like you said, I don't feel why they felt the need to have like this initial rush to crown someone straight away. This could have gone on for weeks, if not a month or two. Because let's face it, we had Brock Lesnar as the champion. He didn't turn up for months on end, so I don't see why they needed to rush. They could have had everyone having great matches to kind of make the championship even more worthwhile, like struggling to get to that final moment. But it's only been, 2 weeks? And it doesn't really, to me anyway, it doesn't feel that important. It just feels like matches that could go somewhere once the tournament's over.
Yeah, I think so. I think, like you said, it could have just added to the prestige of the WWE Championship by dragging it on for a bit and just maybe putting in the whole roster. They don't have to have matches on live TV. They can do it live events. I'm sure TNA do that as well, and just tell you who gets eliminated. So it could have been a really cool way to go about it. But I think overall, it'll be good to get someone different, because if Reigns wins, if Ambrose wins, then it's someone that I haven't seen as a champion, and it's good to get a little bit of change in there, so it's something fresh.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the thing is, for all we're thinking it will be predictable, hopefully WWE turn like a huge curveball and we end up with a champion who we didn't think was going to come out as a champion.
Yeah, I think so. I think it could be a curveball. That's probably where I think Sheamus will come in, but then Ambrose turn heel, Reigns turn heel. It's something that we could see, and I'm just looking forward to seeing how it goes down.
Yeah, definitely. And like I say, it is a strong card if you take aside storylines and whatnot. A few of them have really good storylines, but I dare say we're going to get a select few really amazing matches.
Yeah, there should be some amazing matches on there, especially Owens and Ambrose. I think that'll be a match of the night. But I guess that kind of covers all our thoughts and predictions for the show. And if you want to get involved and submit your own predictions, you can do so at smacktalks.org/predictions. Elle, is there anything that you'd like to promote? Because I know you've been working on some Survivor Series content.
Yeah, I've got some Survivor Series going. That really took ages. I think we've got around 15 matches. Going back to, I think, 1998, so that's something to look out for if you're a Divas fan. But that's pretty much it for Survivor Series related content.
You've got some really good creations in there as well, though, because you've gone back and picked up like quite a few superstars, some divas from over the years.
Oh, some of them look incredible. Like, we've got Deborah and people, and some people have really put some really hard work in, and just having that photo function on the creator suite, it is incredible, and some of them look a lot better than the actual cars in the game, and it's just mind-boggling how great some of them look.
It is. It's really good this year. It's been amazing, the creations that we're seeing. In terms of the Smack Talks channel, just talking about creations, I think if you check out the community showcases this week, the one that I posted earlier today featuring Kurt Angle, it is probably the best creation I think I've ever seen. It just looks so good. And then aside from that, if you're looking for something a little bit different, we'll leave links to Regeneration X, which is our new joint channel, in the description. So if you want to check out some Star Wars Battlefront, we've been uploading that. And then if you're a fan of Doctor Who, we've been doing TARDIS Talk, which is a podcast on Doctor Who. So we've covered the latest episodes, Sleep No More, and a special on Clara, as it looks like she could be leaving this Saturday, which is something that we're devastated about. So we're looking forward to seeing how that goes. So if you want to check that out, make sure to check that out using the links in the video description. Elle, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that's pretty much it, and I just hope everyone has an awesome Survivor Series. I'm not doing drinking challenges though, because last time Delzinski set me up and I was nearly sick all over.
Yeah, it didn't go too well last time, so maybe you've smartened up and you're not going to go down that route. Getting him to do it, he always backs out of it.
Apparently he's always got work, so there goes that one.
But when we were at Raw, I suggested getting some more drinks in when we recorded We Talk, and he was like, you know what, I think I'll just have a Coke, and he wasn't up for it. So I think he's just goading you into this.
What?
He is. So I guess that brings us to the end of this video, but make sure to get involved and let us know what you think and what your predictions are, as well as your Survivor Series dream team. So let us know all about that in the comments. Hope you enjoyed Survivor Series. I'll catch you later.
Bye.